Namaste, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're unpacking a really terrifying tale. It's an explainer diving deep into human nature, desperation, and, well, the true hidden cost of getting exactly what we want. Let's just jump right in and look at the mechanics of the psychological descent into darkness. But before we actually begin, I want you to genuinely ask yourself something. If you were guaranteed absolute success, unlimited wealth, or the love of your life, how far would you actually go? Like, what are your absolute limits? Keep that in the back of your mind as we go through today's story. Because our protagonist, he's faced with this exact terrifying dilemma.
Section 1. The Nameless Book.
So meet our protagonist, Rajat. He's the struggling middle-class student who literally just stumbles upon a completely anonymous book at an exhibition. There's no author, no fame attached to it whatsoever. Picture this. It's late at night in his rented room. The window blows open, the pages start to flutter, and he reads this incredibly sinister promise. It says, "This book is made to fulfill your desires. Complete its method, it will change your life." Basically, it's a transactional tool designed to grant the impossible. But, it's not just some simple wishing well. The dark magic here requires a super rigid, deeply unsettling methodology. We're talking drawing a circle at midnight, sprinkling your own blood from cut fingers, lighting a fire pit, and, ultimately, offering a blood sacrifice. The book basically demands payment up front, which establishes a pretty terrifying set of rules right out of the gate. Section 2. The price of the first wish. Wish number 1. This is the exact moment Rajat decides his ambition is actually worth crossing a major line. So he asks for limitless wealth to start a business. And the sacrifice required for this? A cat. He drugs it with sleeping pills and throws it right into the ritual fire. It really forces a dark question, right? Pressed by crushing poverty and watching your family suffer, how many people do you think would try to rationalize sacrificing an animal just to secure a better life? This is exactly where the slippery slope begins. And the positive reinforcement? It's immediate. The very next morning, a mysterious bag full of cash and a letter just appears at his door. This massive financial reward completely fuels his new business empire. Fast forward a few years, and he is incredibly wealthy. But he's also firmly addicted to the book's really convenient power. Section 3. Escalating desires in blood. Moving on to wish number 2. Rajat becomes dangerously obsessed with a beautiful employee named Varsha. But there's a catch. She already has a boyfriend. Driven by furious jealousy, Rajat turns right back to the book. And this time, the sacrifice scales up. It demands a tied-up goat. So he is willingly shedding more innocent blood just to forcefully manipulate fate in his favor. And here is the really dark reality of this magic. It doesn't just happily grant wishes. It violently destroys obstacles. Literally just a month later, Varsha's boyfriend dies in a sudden, tragic accident. Rajat swoops in, comforts her, and eventually marries her, basically treating her as a prize he won through the darkness. Which brings us to wish number 3. And guys, the stakes reach a horrifying new level here. So his mother falls terminally ill. The doctors give up entirely, saying she just cannot be saved. To cure her, the book demands a monumental escalation. It asks for a human life. It's an agonizing balance, isn't it? The pure, completely relatable desire to save a dying mother weighed against the ultimate sin of murder. He tells himself, "I cannot take a human life. But if I don't, I will always regret not saving my mother." So he rationalizes the unthinkable. He targets his isolated servant, Gopal. He drugs Gopal's drink, sacrifices him in the fiery pit, and then, horrifyingly enough, feeds the remains to stray dogs, just so he is never caught. It's absolutely chilling. And crazy enough, the dark magic actually works. His mother makes a miraculous, complete recovery. But Rajat's internal world, it's completely destroyed. The outward success of his life now sharply contrasts with this deep internal decay. He's driven by this inescapable guilt over taking an innocent human life, and because of that, he swears he will never, ever use the cursed book again. Section 4. The Ultimate Sacrifice. The fourth and final invocation. Now, Rajat genuinely thought he was done. He had locked the book away for good, but tragedy strikes suddenly. His wife, Varsha, who is 8 months pregnant, falls down a flight of stairs. She's bleeding heavily at the hospital, and both she and the unborn child are actively dying. Cornered, totally panicked, and desperate to save his family, Rajat rushes home and completely breaks his vow. He prepares the ritual, but there's a huge catch this time. The book doesn't tell him what sacrifice is required beforehand. Think about the escalating pattern of blood we've seen so far. We went from a small animal to a larger animal to a human servant. Now, to save the lives of his wife and unborn child, what could possibly be left? It has to be the highest possible currency imaginable. So he lights his written wish in the fire, and only then do the terrifying words magically appear on the page. This book will fulfill 3 wishes, but for the 4th, you must surrender yourself to me. Wow, it was a trap from the very beginning. The book was perfectly designed to harvest the soul of the user after making them utterly dependent on it. With literally no time to spare, and his family fading away in the hospital, Rajat takes a blade and sacrifices himself right into the fire. And you know what the most tragic part of this whole thing is? He never even bothered to read the book's final warning page when he first got it. His blinding greed and that intense desire for shortcuts completely prevented him from seeing the ultimate consequences. To put it into perspective, Rajat started off as just a naive, struggling student. He transitioned into this super wealthy, powerful businessman. But the cost of that transition, it turned him into a murderer, and finally led to his ultimate sacrifice. He truly thought he could control these dark forces to his advantage, but instead he was entirely consumed by them. And the thing is, the book survived Rajat. It is still out there right now, wandering, just waiting for its next victim to tempt. So I'll leave you with this. After seeing the true cost of unchecked greed and the really horrific consequences of taking shortcuts to success, if you stumbled upon this nameless book, would you dare to open the first page? Think carefully about your desires, and I'll see you in the next explainer.